Welcome, dear viewers. You're still watching us on ERi-TV, presenting the domestic and international news prepared for this session. Live from our headquarters in Asmara is me, Hermela Grimay, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. Minister Osman Saleh gave briefing to diplomatic community. Community participation in health facilities. M23 rebels withdraw from Congo peace talks. And Peru declares state of emergency amidst violent crime waves. In our detailed domestic news, Foreign Minister Osman Saleh gave a briefing this morning at the Foreign Ministry headquarters in Asmara to resident ambassadors and members of the diplomatic corps and heads of United Nations agencies accredited to the country on false accusations regarding, first, Eritrea's presumptive preparations for war against Ethiopia, second, the Pretoria Agreement, and third, Ethiopia's obsession for an outlet to the sea and subsequent diplomatic campaigns and attendant saber-rattling. In his extensive briefing, Foreign Minister Osman underlined the Eritrean Defense Force has been redeployed to Eritrea's internationally recognized borders right after the end of the conflict in November 2022. Anyone that claims or suggests that the Eritrean Defense Forces are still in Ethiopian territory is doing so to scapegoat Eritrea for Ethiopia's internal problems. These accusations are peddled by former TPLF members who had rejected from the outset and continue to reject the final and binding Eritrea-Ethiopia Boundary Commission decision, and who had worked for regime change in Eritrea to no avail. The government of Eritrea views the Pretoria Agreement as an internal affair of Ethiopia and has no desire to intervene in that process. The government of Eritrea has no role whatsoever in the ongoing internal conflict between the interim Tigray administration and the TPLF. It categorically rejects any accusations or allegations that insinuate otherwise. Eritrea is perplexed by Ethiopia's misguided and outdated ambitions for maritime access and naval base through diplomacy or military force. In this respect, Eritrea urges the international community and its relevant bodies to put pressure on Ethiopia to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of its neighbors. In other news, Mr. Gabriel Taghasta, head of health facilities in the Tasane subzone, reported that due to the commendable participation of the community in health initiatives, commendable health care services are being provided to the public. Mr. Gabriel stated that although malaria cases tend to increase during the rainy season in the subzone, no deaths have been reported thanks to the ongoing environmental sanitation efforts carried out by the community. Highlighting the focus on health care services for infants and pregnant women, Mr. Gabriel noted that vaccination coverage has reached 97%, and the number of pregnant women delivering at health facilities has increased by 17%. He also mentioned that HIV/AIDS infections have significantly declined, while screening for non-communicable diseases are being conducted for residents over the age of 40. Additionally, those diagnosed with such diseases are receiving the necessary treatment and medication free of charge. In other news, the total of 44 outstanding students, including 29 female students, who achieved high scores in the 8th grade national examination have been honored with the Indomaso Award. Mr. Burhanu Wildab, director of Dubarwa Junior School, emphasized that the Indomaso Award has played a significant role in encouraging students to excel in their education. He also urged the award recipients to remain competitive and dedicated to their future academic pursuits. Heads from the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students, along with the Education Office, stated that the award is organized in collaboration with both institutions and continues to serve as a motivation for students to achieve higher academic performance. In the southern region, the Indomaso Award is given to students who score over 80 points in the 8th grade national examination and those who achieve a GPA of over 3 in the National School Leaving Examination. In other news, the Ministry of Labor and Social Welfare branch in the Haga subzone has rehabilitated 30 disadvantaged citizens by providing them with livestock. Mrs. Fatna Haj, head of the office branch, stated that the beneficiaries were identified by their respective administrative areas as part of the nationwide effort to support disadvantaged families. Mr. Takhas, head of the Ministry of Labour and Social Welfare in the Ansaba region, encouraged the beneficiaries to work hard and improve their livelihoods. According to official records, a total of 245 disadvantaged families in the Ansaba region have been rehabilitated with livestock, each valued at 10,000 natfa. Dear viewers, do stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. The Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have captured key areas in Congo's mineral-rich east, announced yesterday that they were withdrawing from peace talks scheduled for this week with the Congolese government. The group cited international sanctions imposed by the European Union on its members as a major obstacle to the discussions, a result of which the rebels are stating that there will not be peace negotiations unless the sanction is raised. The rebels deemed the talks scheduled for today in Luanda, Angola, unviable. Despite this, Congo's government, initially rejecting talks with M23, confirmed it would still participate. During the war between the two sides on the previous 2 months, around 8,000 people were killed and hundreds of thousands have displaced, according to reports. The M23 is one of the many armed groups in the region where competition over mineral resources has contributed to one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, displacing over 7 million people. On our final international news, Peru has declared a state of emergency in the capital amid a state of violence and criminality. The government, led by President Dina Boluarte, made the decree which will deploy troops on the streets of Lima as late yesterday. The move, which will hand police and the military the power to detain people with little restriction and last for 30 days. Peru has seen an increase in killings, violent extortion, and attacks on public places in recent months. Police reported 459 killings from January 1st to March 16th and 1,909 extortions reports in January alone. Peru is one of the countries of South America having high number of crimes relating drug transmissions. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now a quick recap of the major headlines. Minister Usman Saleh gave briefing to diplomatic community. Community participation in health facilities. The M23 rebels withdraw from Congo peace talk. And Peru declares state of emergency amidst violent crime waves. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for joining us and have a blessed one.